Hello, in this week's episode, we take you to one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, the Great Barrier Reef. Listen as we take you 78 kilometres offshore with Cruise Whitsundays from Airlie Beach through the Whitsunday Islands to the Reef World Pontoon and Reef Sleep on Hardy Reef. We tell you all about the incredible snorkelling, the fish and coral you'll see, as well as how you can scuba dive even if you've never done it before, just like I did, and what an absolute buzz it was. It took me hours to come back to reality. But for the main attraction of this podcast, we were privileged to spend a night sleeping under the stars in a reef bed on the world-famous Reef Sleep. Not once, but twice. And we will tell you everything you need to know about it. And yes, there is some great food and wine involved. We also take you for a sneak peek into one of the glamorous underwater reef suites. So stick around to the end to hear our very coincidental happy hour shout out this week, and also how we viewed the most famous reef of all from the air. Cheers! And welcome to the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Leanne.
And I'm Lyle, and this is the travel podcast for beach-loving, wine-drinking couples over 50.
So if that sounds like you, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax and listen as we go travelling the world, one wine at a time.
Cheers.
Well, hello, here we are back again.
Good morning, Leanne.
Hola, we can still say that every now and then, I think.
Oh, buenos dias.
Today, wow, we are taking you somewhere really special on our podcast.
Yeah.
Let's get stuck in. So today's podcast is all about the most amazing thing you can do on the Great Barrier Reef. It's just and it's called the Reef Sleep, and we're going to tell you all about it. But we actually go and sleep on a big pontoon under the stars, and we're going to tell you all about that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it might be even the best adventure on the planet.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
But I tend to
we
exaggerate.
are a bit enthusiastic, aren't we?
Yes,
We never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's right.
So tell us, the Reef Sleep, right? So we're obviously still in Australia, where the reef is on the Great Barrier Reef, but this particular Reef Sleep, you go out from Airlie Beach in the Whitsundays. So Lyle is going to tell us a little bit about Airlie. Yeah?
Okay.
Let's go.
Airlie is a vibrant, popular tourist destination located in North Queensland Whitsunday region with endless array of activities to do.
There is an endless array of activities.
There is. It's surrounded by tropical islands, turquoise water, great restaurants and buzzing nightlife.
Yeah, now that does sound like a pretty nice description, and we're not going to go on and on about Airlie because there will be a podcast about Airlie Beach, but that's the main area where the port or the marina where the ship leaves from.
Well there's two marinas there, and look, it's most famous for its sailing, as a sailing destination.
It's where you access the Whitsunday Islands, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. And the
most people have probably heard of the Whitsunday
the colour
Islands.
of the water is what is the most famous, and the colour is basically very fine sediment suspended in the region's waters, scatters sunlight as it penetrates the water, creating the shade of blue that makes the Whitsundays famous.
Wow.
And the water is you've got no idea how blue the shade of blue it is. It's just beautiful.
So to get to Airlie, how do we get there?
Basically, there's only a couple of ways. There's you can fly in from Brisbane. It's about an hour and a half, and land at Hamilton Island.
So Airlie Beach is north of Brisbane, on the coast of Queensland.
Yeah, obviously warmer.
Yes.
Or you can fly into Proserpine, which is the Whitsunday airport, and that's about, I don't know,
half an hour drive.
Yeah,
there's a shuttle bus
into Airlie. Yeah. Or you can drive, and it's about probably 12 and a half hour drive from where we are to Airlie Beach.
And we've done that, and it's not my favourite way to get to Airlie Beach, but it's worth it once you get there. So that's getting to Airlie, where the marina is, but there's also, that's where the Whitsunday Islands are.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about those.
Look, there's 74 Whitsunday Islands lie between the northeast coast of Queensland and the Great Barrier Reef.
So how many? 74?
74.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yes, and most of the islands are uninhabited.
Right.
They're characterised by dense rainforest, walking trails and white sand beaches.
Yeah.
The inhabited islands like Hamilton, Daydream, Hayman are basically
luxury resorts.
Luxury resorts, yeah. So, and they look, you know, we've spent a bit of time on Hamilton and
Daydream.
Daydream. We saw your favourite entertainer at Daydream.
Yeah, but that's another story for another day.
They apparently, yeah. But look, they're just absolutely beautiful.
So what you do to get to from Airlie to the Reef Sleep is you go out through the Whitsundays, don't you?
Yeah.
The Whitsunday Islands. So it's a pretty beautiful, trip
Just
out.
the trip itself is magnificent.
Yeah, you do stop at Hamilton Island as well. So
you do.
To pick people up.
To pick people up,
So that's a nice little stop. So as you go, you're looking at the beautiful turquoise water, like Lyle tells you, and you're watching, these islands pass by, and there's a lot of catamaran yachts. Like, it's pretty well known for its sailing, isn't it? Up there, and you can even hire yachts. But again, and then you sort of come across the Great Barrier Reef. So
on the way out, often, depending on the time of the year, you can, and we did see this, the humpback whales.
Yes.
Because the water's so warm and so calm.
Yeah.
Basically the mothers have the calves.
Yes.
And it's quite often you'll see them on the way out. So that's pretty special too.
Yeah, so it's whale watching as well.
Yeah, so that's...
And the goal is to get to the Great Barrier Reef now.
Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is one of the 7 wonders of the natural world.
Yeah, just think about that. It's one of the 7 wonders of the natural world. One of the natural wonders. What is it?
It's larger than the Great Wall of China, and the only living thing on Earth visible from space.
Yeah.
The reef contains an abundance of marine life.
It does.
And comprises over 3,000 individual reef systems and coral cays and literally hundreds of picturesque tropical islands. It spans over 2,300 kilometres along the northeast coast, covering roughly 348,000 square kilometres. It's larger than the UK, Holland and Switzerland combined.
That's pretty big, right?
Okay, now did you know...
So that's off... This is like the reef system. No wonder you can see it from space.
It's huge.
Yeah, I know what?
Did you know that
here he goes. He's throwing...
coral is not a plant?
He's throwing
it is an animal.
Right.
Now, I looked at that and I thought, what do you mean? It's not, coral's not a plant, it's an animal.
So you've done your
so then I couldn't help myself. I had to find out what the difference is. Now, coral do not make their own food as plants do. In other words, plants absorb all the nutrients through their, what do they call them?
Their root systems?
That's the one root. I should get that.
You know what? I wish we were videoing this because Lyle's, doing the hand signal of how the plants are getting their food.
Okay.
You should have been Italian, I think.
However, coral have tiny tentacles like arms that they use to capture their food from the water and sweep into their mouths.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
That's amazing. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the Great Barrier Reef before we move on to actually getting out there?
Just that it's magnificent.
It is magnificent. Well, I guess the question now is, we're talking about the Reef Sleep. We've told them all about the reef. How do we get from Airlie Beach out to where we're going to go on the Reef Sleep, which is called Hardy's Reef Pontoon out there?
Yeah, basically we went with Whitsunday Cruises.
Yes.
It's about $299 per head. The actual catamaran, it's a huge boat.
The $299 a head, that's for the day trip. We'll talk about prices of the whole thing a bit later.
Okay, yes. So
go to the marina.
You go to the marina and they check in and...
This is Cruise Whitsundays.
Yep, and then you jump on the boat and off you go. We've been twice now, and the first time was really... the first time was a little bit rough. So just be aware that if you do get seasick, they do give you tablets and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And there's lots of outdoor areas to get the fresh air and stuff.
Yeah. And basically, what we got told is you sit down the back of outside at the back of the boat rather than up the front. Right. And the second time we did it was calm. It was just beautiful. So so you
get on the catamaran.
Yeah.
And when you get on there, part of your trip is morning tea as well. But you can wander around the ship because it's so big.
Yeah.
And as you're going out from Airlie, you're seeing the beautiful headlands and the big mansions on one side, and you can see the resorts like Coral Sea Resort and the actual Airlie Beach on your left as you're heading out. And probably the first 20 minutes is calm, and it's all through the islands, and there's lots of other sailing boats around, and you're seeing little islands with no one on them, and then there's people snorkelling over here off one island off the back of their boats. It's just beautiful, scenic, calm, just stunning.
Yeah, it's idyllic, really.
Yeah, it is. And then we pull into go out through the heads, I guess, and it gets a bit rougher. You start to get the swell, and then you can they often pull into Hamilton Island if they've got people to pick up there to go out.
And just how beautiful it is. Quite often there's actually movie stars and...
the rich and famous.
The rich and famous actually own properties on Hamilton.
Yeah. And there's always helicopters going in and out of Hamilton.
Yeah, for instance, George Harrison of the Beatles, he had a beautiful property on Hamilton. So, then, those sort of people are not going to go... And buy a property and if it's not absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so you get a bit of a sticky beak there at Hamilton Island.
Yep.
And then you basically settle in for the ride out.
Sure.
And it takes about 2 hours in the boat, but about 3 hours in total by the time you stop in at Hamilton and go out through the headlands and do that sort of trip. But as I said, on the way out, you're getting morning tea, and the staff are walking around. Talking to you about, are you going to snorkel today? You've got to fill in some forms. Are you want to scuba dive today? All that sort of stuff. Are you going to do a helicopter ride? Do you want to go in the submarine, which we'll talk about in a minute, because it's not really a submarine, but we've agreed to disagree on that. So there's.
Semi-submarine.
Yeah, that's it. I know, right? Yeah, it is what they call it. So there's something happening around you all the time.
They give a really, really good talk on the ecology of the reef, which I found really, really informative.
So you're not just sitting there doing nothing. There's lots of stuff. And when you're on the Reef Sleep, you actually get your own sort of little area to sit, don't you?
Sure,
you
get the reserved area, and you get a wristband.
Yeah.
And so if you're so inclined and you would prefer maybe a beer rather than a coffee, that's included. So
all your food and drink
is included in the price. But
that's
we
if you're at the Reef.
We were good. Because we knew we were gonna probably do an introductory scuba dive. So we kept ourselves nice.
But I guess my point is, don't think, oh my God, it's 2 hours out there.
No, it goes in a flash.
Yeah, it really does. And if you, as Lyle said, if you do get a bit seasick, they do offer tablets, but there is always a area. I went out the back door just to get the fresh air, to make me feel a bit better. So as I said, you start off slow, you go out through the islands, it's really nice, you're stopping in Hamilton, and then you've got that, hour and a half or so of, probably, full-on ocean crossing. And then in the distance, you can start to see the reef. Now, you can't really see the reef from the ship, but you can see dark patches in the water. And you look ahead and you see, looks like a big boat, really, in the distance. And that's the Hardy Reef Pontoon.
Yep.
And so the catamaran pulls in slowly. It's a bit like a channel, isn't it, that you go in, and on one there's reef on both sides, and the pontoon is, you know, this, I probably should have found out exactly the size of it, but, you know, this big ship pulls up alongside it and there's still room at either end. And
well, it's large enough. I think, you know, you can have about 200 people on the actual on the catamaran. So obviously they'll go onto the pontoon. So
but it's anchored there.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Yeah. So you know, you've done all your paperwork. You've worked out what you're going to do. Everyone gets off the ship. Now you can leave your gear on the ship, you know, because you're eating on the if you're doing the catamaran, ship, boat, thank you. If you're doing the Reef Sleep, you can eat on the pontoon, but if you're just doing the day trip, then you go back onto the catamaran to eat your meals. That's where they prepare it and everything like that. But you get off when you get there, and the whole bottom level is dedicated to water activities. Yeah. Now, the way they run it is brilliant. They've got stinger suits set up if you need them, and they've got them all hanging up.
Yeah, the wetsuits, stinger suits.
And the staff are so good at sort of saying, you fat bastard, you're an extra large. They know what your size you're going to be, right? Yeah. And then you get your goggles and your snorkel and your flippers. If you're going to snorkel, you've got that there. You know, they've got toilets and on the catamaran, but there's also a shower area on the pontoon. Tables and chairs where you can just sit and look, because not everybody wants to snorkel.
Yep.
And then down the other end is the scuba diving area, and you know, you get a time that you're going to be scuba diving if you're going to do it, and it's certainly something that. It's where I did my first dive ever.
Yes.
And it was a beginner dive, and we're going to probably talk about the dives as well. But the other thing I want to talk about just now is with the pontoon, if you're going to snorkel, you've got your gear on. They've got a lifesaver that sits on the side of the pontoon, and right off the opposite side to where the catamaran is docked is Hardy's Reef, and you can go down a couple of stairs onto a metal platform. You're standing in the water with a railing, and you can just basically not jump off, but glide off.
Or slide off,
yeah. And they have a rope area with floats all around it, and they want you to stay in that rope area, but that rope area is so good because you can actually hang on to it if you need to, and you can just snorkel up and down there. You can go with a guide if you want to. Yeah,
guided tours, they do. They call them snorkeling safaris.
Yeah, you can do that. You can grab a noodle to help you float, so you can and you can just wander off, like snorkel off on your own. And I have to say, that is effing believable. Right?
Yeah, look, the thing is probably, and when Leanne says a lifesaver watching you, part of his job is also to make sure you do not stand up on the reef.
Or go out of the area.
Yeah, and they are dynamite on it because obviously they're concerned about the condition of the reef, and obviously if someone stands in it and breaks it and the sediment, and they're really, really focused on that sort of thing.
And there are people that say they can swim because you know that probably can't, so you know they need to keep an eye on some overseas tourists, and you know, as well as
well, I think I would highly recommend both Leanne and I are reasonably capable swimmers, but I would always recommend you take the noodle, because it really does help when you're doing your snorkeling. It just makes it so much easier.
It does. As well as the snorkeling, which you could do for hours anyway, the pontoon has, as we mentioned a little while ago, I said submarine, you said it's not a submarine, it's not underwater, and I'm like, well, it's not a glass bottom boat. What they term it as is a semi-sub. So you go down under the water, it's enclosed and you can see around you, but the person driving it sits above. Okay, right. So let's say we agree to disagree. With semi-sub, fine. The point being,
almost like a glass bottom boat, but anyway, let's keep on going.
It's not bottom; it's all around you.
Sure.
the point being, you get on that, and if you're not into snorkeling, or even if you are, you can do it as well. But if this is the only way you are going to see under the water, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's just this big sort of like a glass bottom boat thingy that's enclosed. That's not, and you just go for a nice slow submarine ride around the coral, and you go obviously in a different area to where the snorkelers go.
Yeah,
and you see all the the coral and a lot of the fish, and so. We did that. That was great.
Yeah, once again, it's fantastic.
And that runs all day while you're there.
And I think that's for like the smaller children maybe that aren't confident swimmers, or even some of the senior people that really are not that confident, and you see just as much.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then there's the underwater observatory.
Yeah. So that's not big, but you go down obviously stairs to go under the pontoon. And it's this little viewing area, and the whole wall is probably 4 or 5 metres long, and same high, maybe not quite that high, is windows that are under the pontoon. Now, under the pontoon's where all the action is, because
sure.
Like it's where all the food's growing, and it's where all the big fish are hanging out. And
and it's also, you can see the divers, the scuba divers, and the snorkelers, and
you can.
There's a bunch of activity going on.
And there's this one massive groper. I think they call him George, but I could be wrong. And honestly, he's 1.5 meters long. He's this great big gorgeous fish, and apparently he's the king of the pontoon. And he's something impressive to see, right?
Yeah.
But you see schools of
barracuda.
Yeah, I was going to say barracuda. You can lots of the little fish, and the thing about being under the underwater observatory is they come up to the window and
because of the light.
Yeah, that's right. They shine this sort of blue light out. It's great. So that's nice for everybody.
And what's that Nemo fish?
Yeah, that's a clownfish.
Yeah, the clown. Yeah, they're there, and like anything, anything you would imagine to be there, it's there.
Yeah, it's so that's the underwater
observatory.
Observatory. Yeah. So we really recommend it, because of all the things that we've talked about.
Well, it's all inclusive.
Yes.
So, and while this is all going on too, you've got they've got photographers, underwater photographers.
Yeah.
So that whether like us, it was our first dive. You've got photos of you being underwater,
but even the scuba divers they're taking photos.
Yeah, sure, and I think you got one with the groper. I think with George. Yeah, when you were underwater.
Yeah, so go and have a look at our website, beachtravelwine.com. And this one's episode 36, and to see the underwater photos that we got of us being really brave under there, that was a lot of fun getting those photos. It's nice to have the memory, that's for sure. So yeah, that's right, I'd forgotten about those. They do that for you. Now, at the other end of the pontoon is as we said before, the scuba diving area.
Yep.
And I don't know why I decided I was going to scuba dive. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I said I would. It was.
I think I talked you into it because I had previously been certified as a scuba diver, but I hadn't done it for years and years and years.
Anyway, I thought I'd give it a crack, right?
Yeah, and Leanne, yes, she was exceptionally brave.
Well, let me tell you about how it works, though, for someone who might be a bit worried or think they might want to do it. You don't have to be qualified at all. If you've never dived before, you can do what they call a beginner dive.
Well, it's introductory dive.
Yeah, introductory dive, okay. And what you do is you go up the other end of the pontoon, and the setup's great. If you're going to do an introductory dive, this is a great place to do it because there's no jumping off meters off the boat or falling backwards or, any of that sort of stuff. You basically walk down some metal stairs onto a platform where the water's up to probably chest height. So, and the people, they do all the stuff with your air tanks and your vest, and they've got it all sorted.
All the safety procedures.
And they help you down the stairs. And once you're in the water, it's not too heavy. And then you practice breathing, you know, in and out as you do. And there's a metal bar you can hang on to. And, you know, so it's really safe and really simple. And even though it feels weird breathing in and out of your mouth, you know, under the water, you know you can do it.
Well, they say the worst thing you can do as a scuba diver or as a diver is to not breathe.
Yeah.
So as long as you continue to breathe, you are fine. Now, the thing with the instructors, I couldn't believe how gentle and how patient they were with not only Leanne but with everybody. They, you know, they never rushed you. It was at your own pace. And most of the actual instructors are we've found a lot of Europeans, French, South Americans, and that sort of thing. And they do this because they want to get their hours up to go to the next level, to do the next level of their diving
career.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the word. Qualification. So that's what they do it. But yeah, we were just amazed. Well, I was just amazed at how good they were.
Can I go back now to my story? Thank you.
Yeah, now you've just got a big note how good you were.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to tell you the procedure. So you get used to breathing underwater, and if you're doing an introductory dive, there was, there's generally 1, 2 or 3 people, you know, together. And when you're ready, you just go down off that platform. You know, the instructor's hanging on to you, and your heart rate goes up a little bit, you know. But as soon as you get moving through the water and you're kicking slowly and you concentrate on breathe in, breathe out, just nice and slow, it actually comes quite natural. I actually found it much easier to breathe when you're moving. And you follow their instructions, and, you know, they've got the hand signals and that they've taught you. And the minute you get out under that pontoon and you are scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef, OMG, it is absolutely, you just can't describe the feeling of being under the water.
Well, it's like, because your weightlessness.
Well,
right?
Just what you're saying.
Yeah, and because you're weightless, it's the nearest you'll be to being in outer space. And look, to be honest, I think I was more nervous than Leanne once Leanne got into having a look. And what takes your mind off your anxiety is what's in front of you, what you're looking at in front of you, which is just these beautiful coral and these beautiful iridescent fish.
And you've got the brain coral, which most people know, and then you've got, you know, the anemones that just sort of sway in the breeze, and then you look up and there's this whole wall of patchwork, you know, different colours that you can see.
It's like a beautiful garden, really.
Yeah, it's massive, and then you see, right, as you said, the little Nemo fish swimming, you know, through the soft coral, and some of the things we saw, I wrote them down: the brain coral. The sea squirts, you know, where the water squirts out of them, giant sweet lip, triggerfish, a 2-metre white-tipped shark we saw, small blue wrasse, giant sea cucumbers, there's, you know, crabs, cuttlefish, moon wrasse, coral trout.
Now, if you could see this, Leanne's reading out of her dive book.
Yeah, what I wrote.
So when you get out of the water and you do your dive, each dive you've got to report. You've got to do a report on it. So Leanne's sitting here going through it. And I think it's brilliant because
And we're down, you know, like, you know, some of the dives after this, but, you know, like we went quite deep. But your beginner dive, you don't go under about, you know, that 10 metres.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, I think it's 8 metres.
Yeah.
But
you know, and also it's about the visibility. And I think, you know, the day we went, you know, visibility is, you know, really good up to 10 metres. So before you know it, your half hour's over, you know, and you're heading back. And that's the next part where you might get a little bit anxious, just because you're going under the pontoon again, and then you're back, you know, and oh wow, you are buzzing, right? It is, you just want to, you know, high five everybody and, you know, scream, that was amazing, it was incredible, it was, I was pumping, right? And I'm just like, I just got to do that again. I've got to do that again, and you just can't believe it. It's over, and I just was buzzing all day from that, and I'm like, I've got to do that again tomorrow. Like, I'm just got to do it again, right?
Yes, you've described that perfectly. Yeah, look, it was fabulous to see Leanne so pumped up after achieving something that obviously she was a little bit anxious about, like everybody, but she did it, and I couldn't believe how much she enjoyed it. It was brilliant.
Well, I was still pumping, and I think our dive was around sort of late, after lunch. So we had late lunch that day. And
I think the dive was 3 p.m.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite, but anyway, we'll go with that. No, the reason I remember is because we had to go back onto the boat to get some lunch. And
that's right.
And they kept it for us. Now, what happens with the catamaran and the 200 other people and from the ship and on the pontoon is the people who come out for the day trip are experiencing all this stuff that we're talking about. And at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 3, they all hop back on the catamaran.
Yeah, 3 o'clock, definitely 3 o'clock.
Right, they hop back on the catamaran, and the 30 or so people who are staying out on the pontoon for the Reef Sleep, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I read it, there was a maximum of 24 people.
Okay, right, okay, so corrected, 24 people. That's probably, okay. So the maximum 24 people are standing on the pontoon with a few of the staff, and everyone else is on the catamaran, and it leaves. It goes back towards land, and we're standing there in the middle of the reef, the Great Barrier Reef, isolated, calm.
Yeah, waving to the losers that are going back. No, that sounds terrible, but a little bit. Yeah, it's probably a little bit true.
And so now we are ready for our Reef Sleep experience.
Yeah, now it gets to the good part.
So we now have access to, not the scuba diving now. Now we have access to the snorkel. We can all snorkel as much as we like. And we go up to the upper level of the pontoon. Now, the upper level of the pontoon has this, half of it is outdoor seating, like entertainment sort of area, right?
Yeah.
And the other half, in the middle is the
kitchen?
Oh no, the kitchen's downstairs. No, upstairs is like the bathrooms, the showers and toilets and that sort of stuff.
Okay,
right?
Yeah,
and there's a bar as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
And then the second half of the top of the pontoon are the Reef Sleep beds, right? And I think I worked out there's 12 of those, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy.
No,
they're all
10.
spread out. Okay, there's 10 of these, little glamping modules. Now they all have storage underneath. They're individual. There's a double bed inside with a comfy mattress and all your bedding and towels and toiletries, and there's electricity points behind you and little fans, and then you can actually do the whole canvas thing, which is waterproof, and just have the screen, right, like the Mozzie sort of screen. So you can be lying there under the stars, watching, the night sky while you sleep, if you so desire. And we've done this twice. And the first night it was quite windy, but we were snuggled up inside. We slept really well. And then the second time we stayed out there, and there'll be photos of this on our website, beachtravelwine.com, was
perfect.
Yes, like a just crystal flat, beautiful water, and just unbelievable stars.
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe what it's like to be out on the reef as the sun's going down with a glass of wine in your hand. Just, there's just nothing like it.
And we've got photos of that too.
Yeah. With a glass of wine in our hand. So then we all sort of meet each other. Like we've met each other on the catamaran going out a bit, but then, you get to meet the other people. Now, we're still in contact with people today, that we met out on for that one night. It's just such a nice experience. And so About 5-ish, 6-ish, the canapes are served.
Yep.
And so we all come together. You know, we've had our showers, we've finished snorkeling. You know, you go have a glass of wine if you want one. This.
Yeah, beer, wine, and soft drinks included in the price.
In our price, and the canapes are not just jats and cheese.
It's really well done. It's 5-star for sure.
Beautiful food, and the little fairy lights come on across the sort of pergola above our heads, and it's just very social and you can go off to a little corner of the pontoon if you want to, but it's just a really special thing to experience. Now, once we've done that, our dinner is served. Yeah, and oh my gosh, it's like, I think it was 5 courses that we had.
5 courses, definitely. Yep.
And beautiful table set up, and we've got our own private chef on board.
Yeah, the first guy was French.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a French chef, French trained.
So we've got, the private chef, and then we've got 2 staff members sort of, filling up our wine.
Making sure we didn't see the bottom of our glass.
Yeah, and, so that, they obviously focus on local produce up there and as much seafood and tropical fruits as you can, but if you're not into that, obviously they ask you before you go. They cater to all food intolerances and preferences as well. But that's just a great way to, you're socialising with other people that are experiencing the same thing as you at the same time. It's really special. So the food's great. Now at 8:30, the bar shuts, right? And you think, but then you think, thank goodness, because you got a big day tomorrow again, maybe snorkeling, probably scuba diving again. You've had a huge day. You don't realise just how tired you are.
Yeah.
And that gives you then time just to, go and relax and find your little spot under the stars, And we've done this twice. Most people only get to do it once in their lifetime. We've been lucky enough to do it twice, and, we certainly would do it again.
Sure. Like if we went back to Airlie, no problem. I'd want to do it again for sure.
Now, so that's the Reef Sleep, and you'll see photos, as I said, of the reef beds, and on Cruise Whitsundays webpage, they've got some really great photos of it. And don't be put off by this, what you think might be small, uncomfortable. They are certainly roomy enough for us, and you put your luggage underneath. They are comfortable. They're clean, and they you could sleep, with this so well, right?
Oh, yeah, look, it was great. But I think to go back, the thing I really enjoyed about the Reef Sleep was meeting the people, the new people.
Yeah.
Now, we met Marcus and Brittany on the first trip. They were the funniest people. Yeah. They had me in tears, laughing so much.
And then on our second trip, we met
is it Jan or Jane?
Jane and Mike, and then also another Marcus and Em, from the Gold Coast. Yeah.
And Jane was, before I really had talked to her, she just looked so sophisticated. She looked $1 million. She had all the makeup on.
She managed to keep red lipstick on even when she was snorkeling.
She had it all, and I thought, she's so sophisticated.
And the outfit.
How wrong was I?
Oh, she was sophisticated.
She was, because at dinner, I think it was someone's birthday, and Jane, was obviously thought she was a good singer, because she got up and she on top of the dinner table and sang happy birthday to whoever's birthday it was, and it was absolutely fabulous. We just had the best night, so much fun, and as Leanne said, by 8:30, you've had enough, that you're not untidy. And I think we actually went down to the underwater observatory with Marcus and Stacey.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice at night.
Yeah, because all the lights are on, and it's just...
Marcus and Brittany.
But what did I say?
Stacey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they were lovely people, and you're still in contact with them.
Sure.
Now, so look.
Spoiler alert! There's something coming up about them later. Thanks.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise.
No, anyway, that's okay. But before we finish talking about our Reef Sleep, this part of it, the nighttime, I want to tell people about the Reef Suites. Now, we have the beds on top of the pontoon.
Yep.
They're called the Reef Sleep or the Reef Beds. On the pontoon, from access from the first level, there are 2 reef suites. Now, these rooms, you go downstairs under the pontoon, and they are a bedroom with an ensuite, and the whole side of your room is glass.
Correct.
So you are lying in bed, looking out with this blue tinge light that they have, and you're underwater. So you are literally sleeping underwater in your own underwater observatory with full glass view of the fish. And those fish go all night. They never stop in the light, So we went down and had a look. Yeah. And Tracy and Andrew were another couple that were on our Reef Sleep with us.
Oh, that's right.
And they had they treated themselves to the Reef Sleep, and they said it was pretty damn exciting. Yeah. So we got to go down and have a look, which we snuck down, which was great. And so have a look at those as well. They're the Reef Suites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've just woken up. We're on Great Barrier Reef, the sun's coming up, and I'm up to capture the sunrise. There's a few clouds around, but it's another spectacular moment out on the Reef Sleep experience. It has been just such a nice night. It's been calm, and we've slept well, and I'm ready to get up and face another day. And we've still got the pontoon to ourselves. It's, peaceful, quiet, it's beautiful. Everyone's sort of starting to stir, the ones that get up early and watch the sunrise. Eventually everyone's up, and we are treated to, oh my gosh, the most delicious breakfast.
Sure.
We're just the fresh fruit and the pastries and the cooked and the coffee.
Yeah, the bacon and eggs.
The coffee machine, the second time out there, that wasn't working, and we were all a bit, oh my gosh. Anyway, they got it working eventually because we all wanted our cup of coffee. So we're just a bit lazily enjoying our brekkie, and then we sort of all start chatting about because we're there now with the rest of the day until the catamaran comes back, and we've got another whole day ahead of us. So some of us decide we're going to snorkel or scuba dive, and I think all of us went for a bit of a snorkel before the rest of the people come out into the pontoon. We can go back up to our beds. We're reading. We're just doing all the just the stuff that you can do that's incredible in that peaceful, quiet environment. But Lyle and I decide that we are going to do like a little helicopter flight. It's only a 10-15 minute flight. There's a helipad just off the pontoon, and we decide that we're going to go up over the reef because I guess if you've seen photos of the reef, it's generally from above.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got to say, that 10-15 minutes flying all around the reef and the Hardy Reef, I got an amazing video and photo of the Hardy Reef. And why is it called the Hardy Reef, Lyle?
3 guesses, Lan. It's shaped like a heart.
It's the most romantic reef in the world. It was very spectacular. Yeah, so you go up over the pontoon and you just see how small it is in
comparison to the reef.
To the reef and the whole area around you. And that's another once we got back, that's another buzz, right?
Yeah, it's certainly a highlight.
Yeah. So we've had our breakfast, we've been snorkeling, and we've done a helicopter flight, and then we basically just fill in our day enjoying the Great Barrier Reef while we're out there. Yeah.
Sure.
We did another scuba dive once. One of the instructors came, and there was another lady that did it with us, and she was a bit like us. She was buzzing from the first one, and we did that. And then there was another old gentleman. I think he might have been Spanish or Italian, little old, he was quite elderly, and he was so proud of himself for doing the beginner's dive. And I think children 12 and over can do it. Can do diving, so we'd certainly such a range of people that wanted to do that introductory dive and enjoy it, right?
Sure. But look, just be aware that
Yes.
you know, you don't have to do the scuba dive.
No.
The colour of the coral, you know, it is at its most colourful at the top.
Yes.
So as you go deeper, say a deep red will dull. So to snorkel,
Especially out there where you are.
yeah, is your mind's gonna be blown on the colours and the fish and everything else.
You're not going to miss out if you're not under the water.
No, that's right. But in saying that, the scuba dive, it's just the buzz. It's just the feel that just makes it.
And yeah, well, the feel and the buzz, but also you scuba dive in a bit of a different area to where they snorkel.
Sure.
And, you know, I think we might have seen, you know, just a little bit more fish life perhaps because we went...
Oh, yeah, you do that.
Yeah, a little bit deeper. But certainly you wouldn't miss out. A lot of people just go out for the snorkeling.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Lyle, can we talk about the cost? As you know, and what I would suggest is, you know, you'd go to the Cruise Whitsunday website to check the prices.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, they change seasonally and that sort of stuff. But at the time of recording, what's you want to tell me the cost of going out?
Yeah, it was $650 per head
Now that's
for a couple.
That's for the Reef Sleep?
That's for the Reef Sleep.
Right.
And I think it was $1,055 per head per couple for the
Reef Suite.
Reef Suite.
Right. Now, but if you take into account that $650 per head, just to go out for the day on the boat is...
Yeah, it's $300. You may as well say it's $299, so $300. You know, you're going to pay about $250 for accommodation at Airlie. You know, anything reasonable. And so really, what we're saying is it's fabulous value when you break it all down.
Yes.
And then, of course, like on that last day, as Leanne said, we've had breakfast, a beautiful breakfast. Then you have morning tea. And then you have this beautiful lunch.
Yeah, like a
prepared.
farewell lunch.
Yeah, farewell lunch.
And that's up on top of the round where our beds are.
Yeah,
and you know, you feel pretty special because everyone else is just having sandwiches on, you know, the boat, and we've just got our own.
Yeah, it's just magnificent. And at that stage, you can have a glass of wine or a beer or whatever. And then, of course, once we depart the
we went and had a quick snorkel after that.
We did. Yeah.
And then we had a hot shower because we can do that.
Yeah.
And you're basically ready to head home.
Yeah. Then you at 3:00. It's time to get on to the catamaran and head home, and all the way home, which is, you know, as we've said, is about 2 hours. We're still entitled to as much wine and as much beer and as much soft drink as we want.
Oh, and food if there's
and food and that sort of thing. So that's great. Now, the alternative, rather than actually catching the catamaran back for that 2.5 hour trip, you can actually organise through Hamilton Island a helicopter flight back as well. So
we looked at doing that, but I think it only lands at Hamilton. It doesn't go all the way into Airlie, and then you have to wait for the catamaran to pick you up to take you back.
That's exactly right. So there was no real advantage for us to do that.
No.
So
we could have, you know, sat at the bar somewhere in Hamilton and waited. But
I never thought of that. Why did we do that?
I don't know.
But anyway, look,
we were pretty tired, and you know, so in summary, let's just quickly summarise this Reef Sleep. It's from the trip out from Cruise Whitsundays, you know, out through the Whitsunday Islands, maybe some whales to look at on the way, lots of talks and videos to watch on your way out as well.
Turtles.
Yeah, and then when you get out to the reef, you know, they've got all the equipment all set up, and you can go snorkeling straight away. You can go on the semi-sub. You can go down to the underwater observatory. And then, you know, you have your lunch, and then the catamaran leaves, and we're all out there, you know, in this I can't even describe the stillness of it, and, you know, like there's just something about it. It's so insignificant, but yet so amazing.
To me, it just came to my head then. Yeah. It's probably... The only thing I could think of it like it would be like in a South African safari. As in, you know what I mean? Out in the jungle with the wild animals. and all that sort of thing. Well, neither have
where
I.
you're
but
small and insignificant in nature.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's the only thing I can compare
And then you've got,
it to.
you're making friends, you've got the food, you've got the place to yourself, you've got the sleeping under the stars, you're having a glass of wine, watching the sun go down, and then you get up with the sunrise if you want to, and you've got this beautiful breakfast, and you've got, once again, time to snorkel and, do all that stuff when it's quiet, and nice farewell lunch and hot shower and on the boat home. Like, it is one of the best experiences that you could ever have, I would say, wouldn't you?
20 out of 10.
20 out of 10. All right, well, before we go, let's... This is really stupid. Where was your favourite place to have a wine?
Oh, hang on, let me
Which
think.
end of the pontoon?
Yeah. Oh, look.
We've already mentioned, like,
Undoubtedly...
having a glass at sunset on that reef, on the pontoon, is something that we will never, ever, ever forget, is it?
Yeah.
And this week, we had, you spoiled it for me, Marcus and Brittany reach out. If you want to get a shout out on the podcast of where you're having your happy hour drinks, send us an email to leanne@beachtravelwine.com, or hit me up on Instagram at beachtravelwine. But I did get a message from Marcus and Brittany, as I said, who were on our first Reef Sleep with us, who we're still in contact with, and they coincidentally said their favourite place to have happy hour was also on the Reef Sleep, and with us at that time, which was pretty nice. So shout out to Marcus and Brittany.
Yeah, and since then they've had a baby?
Two. Yeah.
So,
two.
congratulations, guys.
All right, we'll see you next time on the Beach Travel One podcast. Bye.
Bye.